then the project ended. That's another thing, projects end. The rest were non-starters, not volunteers, inadequate school support, not motivated enough. So these are all teacher development initiatives or exercises that have been successful, not successful for various reasons. We need to examine this very, very critically. Recently, I did a diary study. I, meaning 10 of us did it. They wanted to do it, and we did it. In fact, year before last, we made a presentation here, 10 of us. They all wanted to do diaries because they said we would like to, talk on paper and exchange and learn from it. Some of them are already used to diary writing in their pre-service programs. Yesterday, somebody asked us in the panel discussion, when should it begin? It should begin from the word go, is what we heard from Vanessa. It should definitely begin on the pre-service program, because you only on a program like that can you demand it. Only when you start writing do you know that diary writing is useful. You can understand its value. Not when you think too much about it and then not take it up at all. They wrote diaries and looked at each other and commented on them in a non-judgmental but a critical way. This is not what I'm saying, but this is, in fact, there is in a paper which the British Council has published in CPD Lessons from India. Teachers saw meaning in diary writing and saw it as a tool for professional development, sorry for that word. Presentation in a seminar, TEC12, and a subsequent publication was clearly a motivation. Teachers like to see some end goals, and teachers like to, as somebody said, we are dying for a forum. They like their papers read. When we presented here, not all could attend it. When we presented it here, many people came to us and said, can we also do this kind of work? That gave us a lot of support and confidence. So we are talking about a community of teachers, community of practice. Before I go on to this, the people on this project, diary study, many of them had to keep this a secret from their schools. The fact that they wrote diaries, not that they cared for that, but the fact that they came to my department, we couldn't go to their school because then it would be too obvious for our meetings. So they kept it a secret, and then they said, so we called it secret CPD, or tell lies and do CPD. So this was the label we gave our project. But then they were quite happy to do it, although they said, it's such a pity, I can't talk to my colleague about this because they won't understand it, they're not interested in it, they'll go and sneak it to the principal. I don't know, if there are principals, I'm very sorry I'm making these statements. Okay, here I just want to take a very quick break and then talk about the stages of reflection. Yesterday, I think I mentioned this. There are 4 stages. When you start writing, I think it's best done in a written form. So you need to write it. Descriptive is what we all begin with. It's very, very factual. It's not reflective. You just say, today I attended this session, and the person spoke for 40 minutes, and it was on this, and then that's it. Descriptive reflection. It's reflective, not only a description of events, but some attempt to provide reason and justification for why something happened. Way. Dialogic is going ahead. These are, I think, in a increasing order of complexity. Demonstrate a stepping back from the events, leading to a different level of mulling about, discourse with self, and exploring the experience, events, and actions using qualities of judgment and possible alternatives for explaining and hypothesizing. So you're looking at multiple perspectives, multiple hypotheses. The last stage is critical reflection. Demonstrates an awareness that actions and events are not only located in and explicable by reference to multiple perspectives, but are located in and influenced by multiple historical and socio-political contexts. So as a teacher, you're trying to see yourself as a change agent in a society. What kind of society? The society begins from the classroom. What kind of classroom is this? Why are they sitting in this fashion? What kind of school is it? What's my role vis-a-vis others' role? What's the principal's role vis-a-vis my role, and so on? And then you're also thinking about the society, its historical background, and so on. So when a teacher is doing this, one is not just looking at the technique, whether it worked or not, but something much, much more than that. It's possible, I'm just trying to suggest, that it's possible to measure. Measure is a very wrong word for teacher reflection and teacher growth. It's possible to keep track of where you are in the stage of development, I think, by doing this kind of diary writing and looking at what stage you have reached. There are umpteen examples, actual examples available for all this. These teachers and many others wanted to do diary writing and contribute chapters to a book on teachers' voices. And now I want to talk about this for 1 minute. Many of these teachers came back to me recently and said, now we want to write a book. And we want to continue diary writing. We have been writing, but then we need to meet together, and you need a little money to get them all to one place, and so on and so on. So that's happened. But we also happened to, in collaboration with Warwick University, we figured out that we could work at the primary level with learners as learners as researchers. So that is the topic, but again, teachers are doing diary writing as their aspect of growth. So that's where we are. If you want to look at some excerpts, our government, like in the ancient times, this is one of the teachers saying it, like the Mica system described in that book, Amish Tripathi's book, much outside her school and classroom and syllabus. The quiet and silence of the class when I was invigilating made me wonder, what's the use of exam? And it made me question the purpose of education and the teacher's role in it. In fact, there are lots of time when you can do diary writing. For example, invigilation. These teachers took that opportunity. So lastly, just 2 more minutes, where do we go from here? I'm trying to say that teachers can theorize. The earlier notion that you have to learn theory first and then you go and practice it, I think is not the way forward. I think we have to legitimize teachers as knowledge generators because they have the best knowledge from the classroom. They have to articulate it, they have to talk about it, they have to feel confident about it because they think the capital T theory, that is theory from psychology, sociology, and everything that we call capital theories first, and teachers' theory second. Alexander some time back said this. But I think small t theory is to be foregrounded, privileged over big T theory. Because teachers have theories, it only needs some kind of fine-tuning, some kind of articulation and formulation in order to contribute to this knowledge about classrooms, knowledge about teaching and learning. Space, a legitimate space, we have to give it to them and make provision for, it takes time, as I tried to tell you. It takes time for people to get to understand this. Teachers are very shy. They think it's only the academic university people who can do research, who can do theorizing, and so on. So we'll really need to do that. I'm not trying to be patronizing to teachers. So there is local knowledge which needs to be, or native knowledge which needs to be strengthened. One thing that we have to see is, can we have a system of evaluation where teachers can be enabled to move from one stage to another? Incentivizing teacher development is important, but then we have seen how, with UGC refresher courses, for example, they call it teacher development programs. We have seen what a disaster it is because it's done for getting promotions, getting increments and so on. These people who organize these programs have gone to the extent of ensuring attendance. Earlier it was once, but now they say twice. You need to give attendance twice, morning and evening, so that you don't disappear from there, from the training scene. And another thing that's happened in Delhi University, I can tell you, there's a person sitting without taking part in anything. And I wondered once when I went to teach there, I said, why are you here? Why don't you join the group? He said, no, I'm an observer. I said, what do you do? He said, I just make sure that people don't get up and walk out. So even during the session, they pretend as though they have got a call, and they move away, and then they never come back. So now this is not my idea or your idea of teacher development. So incentivizing or giving some kind of a credit probably is important, but then not this way. Can we create the necessary cadres and support systems? We should We should, in fact, if NIE in Singapore is able to do that, if UK is able to do that, I think the senior teacher needs to be credited with some abilities and expertise, which should be not only used, but acknowledged. And therefore, we need a system, robust system. NCFTE has not done this. So now yesterday, Professor Panda talked about this. Let's hope that we will put in place something there, as well as a concomitant, a corresponding system in schools, which will enable both these. Because as I said, top-down and bottom-up have to go together. Just to end, as I said at the beginning, I have met many teachers and principals who ask us, what is this teacher development? What is in it for students? It's good to be very concerned about students and their development, but I think we have to be equally concerned about teacher development, about teachers. So we have to have a curriculum, if you like, for teachers to grow. It's not an add-on, but it's just like school curriculum. There has to be a curriculum for teachers in school in place, which will have to enable this. That's it from me. Thank you very much.